Hey guys, how you doing? It's your man Tim Black here for TBTV at the People's Summit. One of the great things about the summit is meeting great people running into candidates like Stephanie Myers from Florida, 93rd District. Stephanie, I understand that you're running and you have a fantastic platform, very progressive. Tell me a little bit about it, please.
Well, the first thing is, I think that I'd like to say is that I've decided to not take any corporate special interest money.
Oh.
That was something I decided from the very beginning. Part of the reason that, and I'm going to be honest, I'm a little pissed off, is that this is not the way politics is supposed to be. It's not representative of the people anymore. And even when the people do vote for things, it ends up being corrupted because of special interest money. And that is very, very, very noticeable in Florida. And I'm native to Florida, and I'm done. I'm done sitting by the sidelines. I'm done just kind of being like, no, it'll be okay. I don't think that it's going to be okay anymore, and I need to get active, and I think we all need to get active. And my way of not only getting active by running is also becoming more active in the party. I'm now a board member of the ACLU of Broward County, so I'm really helping in any way that I can because it's no longer time to be sitting and just living history as it's happening without changing history, because if we don't change it now, I just feel that it's not going to be good.
It's not going to be good, right. We're definitely going the wrong direction in so many aspects. And you're right, we need to make change.
And I definitely think that corporate money is a big part of that.
Corporate money is a big part of it. You know, people pay you money, you do stuff, right?
Nah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's what money's for. But, you know, what are some things in Florida specifically? I heard about the aquifer, which I never really, truly grasped.
Sure.
That's like the water, and I heard about sugar, big sugar. What are these things? Please explain to me.
Okay, so absolutely, my pleasure. So environment is definitely, for South Florida, the #1 concern. I was actually talking to somebody that was here the other day that's running for Congress here, and they were like, what do you mean environment? I mean, what's really the issue? Really, how can environment be the issue? We're in South Florida. South Florida is already experiencing the rising tides. We have already been experiencing flooding where 20 days out of a month, depending on the district, you are flooded. We have these king tides that are a problem. It rained on in Weston on Monday, over 11 inches. There's crocodiles now, or alligators now, roaming the streets. The Everglades are trying to take it back. I mean, that's just unacceptable. There's something really wrong going on.
Right.
The reason people are so concerned about the aquifer is because as the salt water tends to rise, it will start to infiltrate the aquifer. Another reason people are concerned is because fracking has not been banned. Another reason people are concerned is, as if those two aren't enough,
right,
is that there's a pipeline, the Sable Trail pipeline that's being built. So if there's anything that happens, and there's already been a leak, this is going to also contaminate our water aquifer. Our aquifer is what we use to drink. It's what we use to shower with. And we don't want, obviously, what happened to Flint, Michigan to happen. These are things that are a genuine concern. They're a necessity for us to address now, especially because those that can't afford to, which is the majority of people in general in the
right,
state, really around the country, but specifically in the state, they can't afford to just put in this brand new water filtration system, raise their home in the foundation.
Wow.
So the most marginalized are going to be hit the hardest. Big Sugar is another reason that they're a part of this issue, is that and the land that they use and the runoff that they have by cultivating Big Sugar and by making this happen. And we all know that goes with corn syrup, and there's this whole thing, which is already a problem with the country.
That high fructose stuff that's horrible for you, right?
All of it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, sugar just should be cut out of everybody's diet.
Evil.
It's not something.
Right.
It's not something that we ever were meant to really eat, except for in fruit. I mean, if you really want to go back to it and look at history, that makes sense. And now we have sugar in everything. It's like in salad dressing. I think it's the first ingredient now. Like, how is that possible? So yeah, but all these things absolutely affect our environment.
Right.
There was a bill that just passed. We're hoping to get some money from federal government to make it happen, where they're building a reservoir south of Lake Okeechobee to help the Everglades. But that is taking back a little bit of land of Big Sugar. But we really need to take it back a lot more back. We need to do a lot more to really restore things and restore the balance in our environment.
Understood. I mean, and just so people know, if you like your sugar, but it shouldn't destroy the neighborhood. It shouldn't destroy our environment. We have to put people before food, put people before.
People can't exist without food.
Before businesses, basically businesses. That's why it exists. It's for money. It's for money. So Steph, look, I'm interested. Great ideas, great topics, great policy points. But what brought you into politics? You're new to this, right? So what inspired you?
So, okay, it's actually a little bit of a funny story. A friend of mine from junior high put up a post on Facebook in a group. She wasn't actually even a friend of mine on Facebook, through Facebook. She's just somebody that I knew from junior high. I hadn't spoken to in 20 years. And she put up this post saying, hey, would anybody be interested in doing a sister event down in South Florida? with the Women's March.
Oh.
And I immediately added her as a friend and said, yes, what can I do to help? I've never done anything, but whatever you want me to do, I'm going to do it. And she said, okay, here you go. Why don't you take the lead? And I said, what now? Which shocked me and scared me, and I said I had all these ideas, and because especially the thing that scared me the most is the biggest thing I think I've ever put on was about 30 people.
Well, okay, right, understood.
But at this point, I was, like I said, I was pissed off, and I was really concerned because I am native to Miami, and all of the rhetoric affected me personally, because while I might not look at like a specific way that would have been somebody that was affected, that's my home. And the cultural, the multiculturalism of it, and all the ethnicities and all these different things that are part of Miami is something that I grew up with, that I'm native to, and it's something that I've always loved. I always loved the fact that there was this diversity because of the fact that you are now exposed to all these different points of view and elements and food, which that's like a personal separate benefit, but it expands your mindset about what reality is.
Right.
And so I always thought that was beautiful, and I felt that everything that happened, we were personally attacked. So I wanted to heal our community. So what I decided to do is hold this rally, and I had some great people behind me to help, and I wanted to have nonprofits there, which we got, so we can have the nonprofits speak. We ended up having the people talk about all the different issues, which there were always the issues. I mean, let's be honest.
Always.
There were always the same issues. The issues haven't changed, but they weren't being highlighted and spotlighted the way they were during the election. So I wanted to make sure that people knew what these issues were, how to get involved, and how they were affected, but also that they weren't alone. That all these people were coming together because this is our community, and this is more important than this divisiveness of the election.
I agree with you.
So we ended up actually having 20 to 25,000 people.
Wow.
There were 2 separate marches that happened outside because they couldn't all get in.
Right.
When we first started planning it, my friend said, well, we think maybe 3,000 will come because Miami, there's some great activists, don't get me wrong, but sometimes they can be a little bit apathetic.
Right.
So we had no idea, and we get a call from the city the day before, we think you're going to reach capacity, and I was like, again, what now?
Wow.
So it was amazing, it was humbling. It never could have happened if the people didn't want it to happen. But the number one thing that I heard back as feedback, other than could you have picked a bigger place, and I'm like, well, I can't have it at the Miami Arena because that's just silly, and that really would have been the only bigger place, was the fact that there was so much hope. I had, Patricia Ireland was one of our speakers. She thanked me personally for giving her hope again. I mean, she was the president of NOW for 20 years.
Wow.
Or not 20 years, 10 years, I'm sorry.
Still
but like that, I mean that, and at the very end I spoke for like 2 minutes. It was and I cried because it was just so overwhelming and so humbling because it wasn't me. It was never about me. It was about bringing us together and healing. And so that was the first step. And then since then, I was just trying to get involved any way I could and really figure out the best way to help. And it was, yes, the activism is important. Yes, getting involved with the party is important. Yes, being part of the ACLU, which I love, and I think is outstanding for what they do because they stand for our constitutional rights.
Right.
That was important. But it wasn't enough to me. I needed to do more. And running for a seat that is flippable, because the person's termed out, that was the final answer. So I wanted to do all of it.
That's important to know, guys, that the seat is flippable. Wow, this is an opportunity for us to get someone with progressive values into this seat, who fights for the community, fights for the environment. What are some other issues so we got environment, what are some other things affecting
education?
Education.
So I actually went to public school, and my mom's a teacher, and so it's something, even at 15, I knew that there was something broken, but I didn't understand the minutia of it. I just knew something was wrong, and I was very concerned at 15. Now, the more that I learn, the more that I'm like, oh my goodness. And this is another thing about Florida, is the budgeting. There's all these programs that are fantastic, but they divert the budget all over the place to not what it's intended to be.
Right.
The only one that's not touched, ironically, or maybe not, is the NRA stuff.
Okay.
That's the only budget that actually stays where it's supposed to stay.
Interesting, isn't it?
It is. Healthcare is obviously another huge concern based on our demographics. There was just a bill passed that gutted a bunch of money on the hopes that we're going to be getting federal money. Well, you can't activate Point A and Plan A if you have no idea if Plan B is even going to exist.
Wow.
So it's like those types of things are fundamental to me. And my dad was also a physician, so it's like I have that background. And environmentally, I've just kind of always, I was part of the Audubon Society when I was a kid. I used to like volunteer. So those are all very, very key issues in the state and in that county. I think they're key issues across the country.
Right.
But yeah, those are definitely my concerns.
But Stephanie, I can tell you just from this brief discussion, you're running on the type of principles that excites my audience members. And I'd like to talk to you more about it. Maybe we can have you come on the show and really, like, yeah, you know what I mean? And really get down to it. One of my biggest, I guess, gripes is not getting involved with candidates soon enough. You know, getting late in the game and they're already, you know, up to that date. So now we have a time. I feel late in the game.
Yeah, trust me. I feel guilty about the fact that
no, you're in now. This is good.
I'm in now, but I feel responsible that I wasn't in earlier. Like I do take that on.
Well, better now than never. And
That's
you're
true.
running for the right reasons, which is another thing we're really keen on, is why people are running. So I'd like to invite you on. Stephanie Myers, 93rd District. Tell people where to go to find out more about you and to just get into it.
So it's MyersForFlorida.com, and that's MYERS4FOR Florida.com.
Fantastic thing. Look, pleasure meeting you, Stephanie.
Thank you so much for your time.
You definitely want to find out more about your campaign and what's going on. Look, guys, I'm Tim Black for TBTV here with Stephanie Myers, 93rd District, and we'll see her soon. We'll see you.